Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast, brought to you, as always, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Now, when you use promo code DNVR, new customers can make any $5 bet on the NBA playoffs and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. That's with code DNVR, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome into a Friday Suze Show edition of the DNVR Rockies podcast. I'm Suzie Hunter, holding down the fort solo, but we have a stacked show with incredible guests today. But most importantly, we've got Kale Sorbo producing. Kale, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm great.
Good. Happy to hear it. First time we talked all day. Crazy. No, listen, we've got an absolutely incredible show. We are going to talk to Derek Montilla of PHNX D-backs about the big Madison Bumgarner news. We're going to talk to Herb Lawrence from CHGO White Sox about all the stuff that's going on there. Makes me feel a little bit better about my life with all the stuff going on with the White Sox. We're going to talk to Jeff Dooley, the voice of the Hartford Yard Goats, and he'll actually be one of the voices of the Colorado Rockies this weekend. We'll tell you more in a little bit. And we talked to Tim Haggerty. He wrote an incredible book. We mentioned it on the pod earlier this week, and we're going to find out more about it. But first, let's find out more about the Colorado Rockies and how they fared in Philadelphia on Thursday. First of all, Feltner was the star of the show. He was cooking. He got the start. Much better than the last time he started in Philly. I don't think he had a good time last time he was there. But the first inning, we had a 2-run homer from CJ Cron. So the Cron zone is back. And then a 1-2-3 first inning for Feltner. Absolutely incredible. He also, I don't know if you caught any of the game last night, Kale. I know there's a lot of other sports going on.
I've been deep in playoff basketball mode.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you are a very important part of the Nuggets beat.
Thanks.
So they need you to be all in for that.
Yeah. So we're locked in on the NBA playoffs right now, but we're having fun. And I'll catch a Rocks game every now and then.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess it's good that I'm telling you about what happened with the Rocks.
It is.
End of the third inning, Feltner got Schwarber swinging strikeout. It was absolutely incredible.
You love to see it.
You love to see it. He's such a big dude who mashes. So seeing him strike out, freaking great.
Yeah.
The sixth inning, the Phillies brought in Bellotti to pitch, and this is where the Rockies extended their lead even more with some good old-fashioned run manufacturing. And then also we got 2 1/3 innings from Justin Lawrence. He was absolutely cooking. Everyone was talking about his sweeper, because it's not a slider anymore. It's a sweeper. It's the word of the week, I think.
So where does that word come from? Because I've never heard that before.
It's very new. This is like a new trend in pitching where instead of sliders, if it like sweeps more, it's a sweeper.
Oh, so like it's a whole new pitch.
It's a whole new pitch, but it's also like kind of still a slider.
Okay, but look at that sweeper.
You know what? It's controversial. It's still very controversial. Corey Sullivan on the Rockies broadcast last night was like, no, a sweeper is not a thing. It's not a pitch. It's like a thing that you clean the street with, or it's a position in soccer.
So where do you stand? Are you a sweeper fan, or are you a slider is a slider type of fan?
I'm going to default to believing the pitchers that this is a different pitch. But also, like, if they're just doing a bit, that's hilarious, and I'd love that too.
You are nothing if not committed to the bit.
I can't commit to anything but the bit. So, yeah, Justin Lawrence was cooking. He was sweeping with that sweeper. Phillies fans hated it. They were so mad online. It was kind of hilarious, actually.
I mean, I kind of get it, though. Like, imagine if you were losing to the Rockies. Like, I would be mad, too.
They're big mad.
Like, you were in the World Series last year and we're losing to the Rockies?
They hated it. Ninth inning, Rockies had a really... Rockies, wasn't as big as their sixth inning and their first inning, but the Rockies had a pretty big ninth inning. Jonathan Daza doubled, and then Mike Moustakas came in to pinch hit for Tovar. He got a double. Daza scored, so then it was 5-0. Pierce Johnson closed out the game. He gave up a double. He gave up a walk, but ultimately he shut that inning down before the Phillies could do anything. So final score, 5-0 Rockies. They snapped that 8-game losing streak. Listen, lots of things go to Philadelphia to die, including the Rockies' 8-game losing streak. You'll have to see it. We needed it. I think we needed it. Mentally, I needed it.
You definitely love to see a win. I think the players needed it more than anything. 8 days of losing, that's a lot.
Listen, it was real quiet in that clubhouse when they were packing up on Wednesday.
That's what I mean. I think really the players, just for their own mental health, going through that much losing when you're so competitive inherently, you have to be a professional athlete. That's got to be so hard.
Yeah, when you're not competing, doing the one thing that you feel like you are put on this earth to do. But listen, great news, great things. Love to see it. Love to see a win. Everyone was happy. Everyone rejoices. We're going to get into some baseball headlines. We're going to keep it quick. We're going to talk about 5 baseball headlines you need to know today. And we're going to start in Philly with Bryce Harper. It's a good thing the Rockies are in Philly. They might be there just at the right time because Bryce Harper's recovery from his Tommy John surgery it's a little insane. He is absolutely flying through this recovery. Matt Gelb of The Athletic called his recovery absurd because typically the recovery for a position player getting Tommy John surgery is about 12 and a half months. And Harper might be back in 2 weeks in about half of the time that it takes for a regular human being to recover from this. So probably a good thing that the Rockies are missing out on that quality time with Bryce Harper. I'm sure that helps. Also, Fernando Tatis is back. He is back. He had not played for the Padres in a game in 564 days. That is crazy. Between his injury, his PED suspension, Padres fans have been calling it Tatismus. Fun stuff. Scherzer's sticky situation. Max Scherzer got that 10-game suspension that he will not be appealing after he was caught with a sticky substance on his hands. There have been 3 of those sticky ejections this season. Hector Santiago, Caleb Smith, and now Max Scherzer. Phil Cousy checked all 3.
Something about hearing the word sticky ejection on a pod that I don't love. Don't love it.
Okay, you know what? I don't love it either. Now that you're really bringing it up, this is a family show, Kale. Please keep it together.
That's my bad.
It's interesting. So according to Pitching Ninja, though, Scherzer's RPMs weren't up. So either one, Max always cheats and all other crews are incompetent and haven't caught him, or 2, they are just attention-loving umps. So that's what Pitching Ninja said. I believe Pitching Ninja over anyone. Love my content creators out there. So I thought it was interesting. Also interesting, the Oakland Athletics drama is heating up. The Athletics seem to be heading for Vegas. That move seems more and more likely, with ownership now working on a deal to purchase land for a stadium near the Raiders stadium. So things are in motion. Athletics fans are pretty bummed, to say the least. But yeah, crazy stuff. Even crazier, Madison Bumgarner DFA'd from the Diamondbacks on Thursday. That era has come to an end, and it comes after getting cursed out by Wilson Contreras. So imagine getting cursed out by Wilson Contreras and then the next day you're fired. Crazy. But yeah, we wanted to know what really led to this. I was pretty shocked. I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention to Madison Bumgarner. Can't lie. But you know who always is paying attention to Madison Bumgarner and everything Arizona Diamondbacks? Our friends at PHNX D-backs. Derek Montilla broke this all down for us. Kale, are we ready to roll that? All right, let's roll it. Joining the pod now, Derek Montilla of PHNX D-backs. Derek, how are you doing? You guys have had a busy couple of days.
Yeah, I'm doing well, and I like the trajectory of this team, and I like the fact that they made the tough decision that they needed to make, designating pitcher Madison Bumgarner for assignment. Obviously, that's the big news that's happening. It just really does feel like this team being good might be real, and we might actually see this team do some things this season, some unexpected things.
Now, did you guys see this move coming? Because this is a big move, and that's a lot of money.
It's hard to say. Like, yes, we saw it coming, but we were fairly doubtful at times because the team seemed so committed to it. When you asked Mike Hazen, when you asked Torey Lovullo, there wasn't much of a doubt in their mind, even after some of the more terrible starts that he had, that he was going to remain a part of the starting rotation. Obviously, a big part of that is just trying not to, show a lack of confidence in him publicly with the media. But I mean, they just seemed so confident at times that Madison was going to work his way through this, situation. And, in their defense, he has had like some weird ups and downs in his time with this team where he was actually pretty damn good, but just in a small, sample size, small stretch. But this season, he just hasn't been able to put it together. I think the fact that that they're so good is putting a sense of urgency on them to do something about it. And to be honest, they have some really good, young, talented arms in minor leagues that are waiting for an opportunity to come up and be a part of this starting rotation. Dre Jamison, who is right now a starting pitcher, was actually placed in the bullpen just based on the lack of opportunities. And now, due to necessity, he's part of the starting rotation, and he's been pretty good for this team.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is going to happen with the D-backs rotation?
I think for now, Tommy Henry is going to come up and maybe make more than one start, maybe two, maybe three starts. But I think once the stars align, we will see Brandon Pfaadt, which is the Diamondbacks' top-ranked pitching prospect, come up and join the starting rotation. When asked about it, Mike Hazen, the general manager, he did not hesitate. He immediately said, yes, Pfaadt was ready. He answered my co-host Jesse's question on that, and I thought he was going to stare a hole right through his head with how intensely he was saying yes about Pfaadt being ready. So there's no doubt that this kid is ready to pitch at a major league level. It's just more about things lining up. In this particular instance, just one off day for the Reno Aces threw everything kind of off track for him being on the same kind of schedule as Madison Bumgarner, for him to just kind of come in and take over. He started last night and he was excellent in his outing last night, just flat out incredible. So I think he's ready. So once maybe some off days and some things line up between the Aces and the Diamondbacks, we'll see Brandon Pfaadt get the call.
Fun news for you guys, less fun news for us, of course. But where do you see Mad Bum ending up? And do you think the Rockies should try to snag him?
Madison Bumgarner had 5 teams on his no trade clause. I guarantee you the Colorado Rockies were one of them. He does not want to pitch there. No pitcher wants to pitch there, let's be honest. But I don't think so. I don't know, though, because here's the thing is, as right now, it's based on the Diamondbacks' opportunities. It's based on the young arms. It's based on the fact that they want these young arms to come up and with the way Bumgarner was pitching, get this chance, give them a shot to maybe make this team a winner. But there are plenty of teams in baseball that need starting pitching. There are plenty of teams in baseball that need a veteran left-hander like Madison Bumgarner. So it doesn't feel like necessarily the end of the road for him, but it's also up to him. I mean, he does have other interests in life. He has a whole other second identity. I'm not sure if you're aware of Mason Saunders, rodeo extraordinaire superhero. So, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised based on a few things to see this probably not be the end for Madison Bumgarner, but I wouldn't be surprised if his career doesn't have much left in it based on what we saw here in his 3 years in Arizona.
Yeah, you know what? That was leading to my next question. Do you think this will just open up a lot more time for him to pursue his rodeo career?
Yes, 100%. I mean, look, man, I'll say this guy has made enough money in his career at this point, and he's going to get paid for the rest of his contract, right? So basically he could take the next year and a half off and just ride off into the sunset, just rope a few steer. I don't know. Maybe he finds that's the life that he was meant to live in the first place. I don't take anything away from Bumgarner, but unfortunately for this team, if they wanted to have a veteran on it, they wanted to have, I think, a veteran maybe that would share a bit more of his wisdom with the young players. Now, I haven't heard a bad thing about Madison Bumgarner from his teammates, but he just, to me, didn't strike me as the kind of person that a young pitcher is going to walk up to and be able to ask questions about. Meanwhile, you have Evan Longoria that's been in the clubhouse for a cup of coffee, and he is absolutely, it seems like, already impacted the clubhouse. Young players have already said that they've gotten a lot of good advice from him, that they've talked with him, that he's shared a lot. Torrey has brought that up. So, like, I don't know. I never heard that verbalized from any players about Madison Bumgarner. So when you're an aging player like that and you're on a young, exciting team, that mentorship, that knowledge that you can pass along might be something that the organization sees, a value in that might not translate onto the field. I just don't think Mad Bum was offering that up either.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. One last question. What is your favorite Mad Bum memory, and why is it that weird stare down during the sticky stuff check last season?
Oh, it's because Dan Bellino gets the last laugh. That's why it's funny, because Dan Bellino is probably still going to have a job in Major League Baseball long after Madison Bumgarner doesn't. I have a personal note where one time Madison Bumgarner wanted to talk to me about a tweet I sent out. And apparently he mistook me for another person who he then had that conversation with that person. And I got off scot-free. So in my personal experience, that's probably my favorite memory when it comes to that. But no, Madison Bumgarner, again, he was definitely an interesting character. And I think that it's just an exciting time for the Diamondbacks, because when you talk about the young guys and kind of like the beginning of the season, we really didn't know what we were going to get out of them. We still don't know what we're going to get, but there's not like this sense of dread now every 5 days that to see if, someone that's a starting pitcher can get their career back on track. It feels more like it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fluid. We're going to see guys get opportunities. And if those guys don't perform, we're going to see other guys get opportunities. And this team is going to continue to try to make moves to make them competitive this season. I think they see, might not see the NL West as being wide open, but for right now, I think that it's pretty tantalizing, considering that they're still in first place and we're almost at the end of April.
The first place Arizona Diamondbacks. Derek,
thank you. You could say that a lot.
You could. I hate saying it. It sounds terrible. I liked it better when it was the first place Colorado Rockies for those 2 days in March.
I understand.
Derek, tell us where we can follow all of your tremendous content.
You can follow me on Twitter at @cap_caveman with a K. You can follow us at PHNX_DBacks. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all those places.
All right. Have fun down there. I will talk to you later. Thanks for joining the pod.
Thank you.
The All-City fam is so represented in the show, but before we show you more, we got to talk about how incredible it is being a diehard here at DNVR, because you are getting 15% off of your tab at the DNVR bar here at the corner of Colfax and York. And tonight's going to be lit because we've got nuggets. Are we allowed to say the deal for today?
Yeah, we are. It is the hour before tip-off, half-price Rakia.
And Kale, for those of us who do not know what Rakia is, how would you describe it?
Rakia is the national beverage of one Serbia, the home of our Lord and Savior Nikola Jokic. And we drink a lot of it here at DNVR_Nuggets.
How did we acquire Rakia for the bar?
So we had to go through a special distributor that carries a type of Rakia called Iskrena, which we were gifted to by the makers of Iskrena while we were in Serbia.
Because you guys were celebrities out there.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the story.
This is just wild.
Story.
So it's half off tonight?
It's half off Iskrena Rakia tonight. Yep.
That's
for
insane.
Up until tip-off. So
up
from
until
6:30 to 7:30, you get half off Rakia.
Half off Rakia, and if you're a diehard, you're getting 15% off of your tab, 20% off of everything at DNVRlocker.com, 20% off of our tailgates, our party buses. We have a DNVR Rockies takeover coming up. It is in a little more than a week. It is April 29th. 20% off of all of that, and that annual membership is coming with a free shirt from DNVRlocker.com, and y'all know we've got the best merch in the biz. It is incredible. You're getting extra raffle tickets at all of our watch parties to win even more free gear and access to our Diehards Only Discord where you can chat with all of your friends in this beautiful sports community that we have cultivated. Incredible. So yeah, head to thednvr.com to find out more. All right, we are also so excited to tell you about Fubo TV. 140 plus live channels with sports, shows, movies. You can stream live TV from any device, and you can watch the most Colorado sports for the lowest price. And there is a free 7-day trial. No contract, no cable, no hassle. So just sign up and start watching 100 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. It is absolutely incredible. You can also catch the CU Buffs spring game on ESPN on Saturday on Fubo TV. You can watch the Nuggets, the Avs, the Rapids, the NFL Draft, all of that and even more. You're going to watch your local teams. You can even watch them while you're traveling. So yeah, you can catch the Nuggets and Avalanche on Fubo and use the link in our description when you sign up to get 15% off. You know who else gives us 15% off? Pins and Aces. I'm obsessed with Pins and Aces. They are the official golf apparel partner of DNVR. We love our Pins and Aces gear. We are always catching compliments on them. You should see the shirts that Spencer walks around in every single day. Like, they're beautiful. He is so well dressed solely because of Pins and Aces. But they are family owned. They are a golf and apparel business based right here in Colorado. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags. They have a beer sleeve. It looks like it's a thing that holds your club, but it actually just holds your beers or your seltzers and keeps them cold so you can bring them with you on the course. It's the coolest thing ever. So check out pinsandaces.com and use code DNVR to get 15% off of your first order and to get free shipping. That is pinsandaces.com. All right. I'm glad we talked about that. But what else do we want to talk about? We want to complete the All-City Circle today and check in with CHGO because they've got a lot going on. But also we just love talking to Herb Lawrence of CHGO White Sox. Kayla, are we ready to roll that? All right, let's hear it. Joining the pod now is Herb Lawrence of CHGO White Sox. Herb, this is your official mental health check for the White Sox. How are you guys doing?
We are doing not well because last year, if you guys recall, 2022 White Sox, they were supposed to win the AL Central and they finished in 12 games behind the Cleveland Guardians. And so we're like, okay, in off season, maybe they've washed all that away with the Tony La Russa departure and all that good stuff. No, same old stuff. The White Sox are 7-12 currently and going to Tampa, who is the best team in baseball. I think they're 16-3, or something like that, something ridiculous. And the White Sox haven't won a series this year. They've tied the Houston Astros the first series, lost every one since, and they haven't won back-to-back games this whole year. So that's how we're doing.
That is rough. And you guys were just playing Philly, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and we're doing that right now. What was the scouting report?
Don't pitch to them. They can hit the ball and hit the ball really hard. Even though they don't have Bryce Harper or Rhys Hoskins, they crush every ball that the White Sox pitchers threw. And coming into our series, the bugaboo for them was their bullpen, but their bullpen threw like shutout ball the 3 games we played versus them, and then I think they only walked one. It was a filthy outing for them. And their starting pitchers are no great shakes. Even Wheeler we got to, but that hitting is the thing that's going to carry that Philadelphia Phillies team, and especially when Bryce Harper gets back.
Yeah, they definitely had an off night last night. I do want to talk about White Sox pitching, specifically one pitcher, Mike Clevinger, who has... You know, we all know what's going on with him. We all know the story. He ruffles a lot of feathers. He changed his walkout music to Gold Digger by Kanye West, but won't answer reporters' questions about this. What is going on out there?
Well, we here as the White Sox, our White Sox fans, we are pissed that White Sox management put us in the situation where we have to root for a detestable human. I mean, even if you felt that Mike Clevinger was exonerated. And I do not know. I'm not one of those people, but some White Sox fans will ration themselves and like, okay, he's on our team, I'm gonna root for him. And if you thought that MLB, with what they said, exonerated him, which it didn't, him coming out to that music is detestable. It's a garbage thing to talk about the mother of your child like that, especially when you have MLB investigation about you domestically abusing her and your child. So he won't let well enough alone. You know, if he would just stayed quiet, kept his head down, pitched well, I think most people would be like, he's still a piece of trash, but at least he performed his job. He's like poking the bear now, and he wants White Sox fans to be, you know, not on his side, because before this I wasn't on his side, and after this I'm like, I want him to get hit hard. And that's what happened the other day, where he faced the Phillies 3 innings, threw 75 pitches, 44 in the 3rd inning. After that, Pedro Grifol, the new White Sox manager, yanked him after 3 innings. It was enough. Only 3 runs given up, but still, he was like, you don't have it today. And there was a person there that actually sprinkled some dust, apparently, before the game to curse Mike Clevinger. And I was like, hey, I don't want him to win for the White Sox. I want the White Sox to win the games that he pitches, but him not to perform well. And that's exactly what happened the other day, except for the White Sox didn't win. So, yeah, I think majority of White Sox fans can't wait until this guy gets DFA'd or the season's over and he's no longer a White Sox.
Okay, what is this about sprinkling dust as a curse? Can you explain this?
There was a lady. I was at the game on Wednesday afternoon, right before the post-game show of CHGO White Sox. I was talking to a friend in the 108 section, and there's a lady who comes up in a Reds jacket. She says she's a Cleveland Guardians, Cincinnati Reds fan, and she hates Mike Clevinger because she knows Olivia Feinstead, and she knows that what Olivia's saying is true. And so she went before the game and had some dust. It was some, like, she told us, like, it puts out whatever it gives you whatever you're putting out to the atmosphere.
Wow.
You know, if you believe in that such of curse, cool. You know, I kind of rolled my eyes initially about the dust, not the Mike Clevinger stuff. That's serious. But I was like, you're not gonna curse anybody. But sure as hell, it worked. And all the game long when he was pitching, she was like, "You're a domestic abuser. You suck. I hate you," type of stuff. And I was like, "Hey, man, I can't blame you, man, because the man was accused of something that I believe he did and got no punishment for it. So if it's the worst is that somebody's yelling at you at a baseball game, take it. You should be able to take that, and it should be able to be, said by the crowd, because we shouldn't be, coddling or having domestic abusers or accused domestic abusers on our team." So I was fine with the lady and what she did, and it worked out for her. So I guess she cursed him. I hope she cursed him for the rest of the year too.
This is very interesting. You'll have to keep us updated on the progress of this so-called curse. I want to flip it a little bit. I want to talk about a different pitcher, Liam Hendriks, who has just been ruled cancer-free. How much of a relief is that for White Sox fans?
It's great because the person is a great person. He's an advocate for others who are marginalized communities, like the LGBTQ plus community. He's a big time advocate for them, advocate for Chicago itself. Like him and his wife Christy do a lot of charity for this city and the places that he's been previously, like Oakland, Minnesota, Toronto, etc. We're so happy the person is good. We don't really necessarily care if he pitches. He's a great pitcher, don't get me wrong, but the person being cancer-free feels so much of a relief, because, in this life, good things happen to good people all the time, or bad things happen to good people all the time. And it's finally good that, a good guy comes out of something bad and he is on the other side of it, and being in remission of cancer is an awesome thing for him. And as far as the pitcher, we can't wait to get him back. Bullpen's been kind of shaky this year. It's one of our worst spots. And I think that everybody goes back into their roles once Liam Hendriks is back. And if it's the Liam Hendriks that we are all expecting, the White Sox bullpen will be back to like middling, maybe upper echelon market value for the bullpens in the major leagues. So I can't wait until the guy comes back. They're thinking like late May, early June, but that would be a miracle because the guy beating non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is not an easy thing, and he just did that like a champ in pretty much like 6 months.
That is, I mean, yeah, I've met him. I've had the chance to chat with him. He is such a great guy. So I'm happy to hear that things are going well. Also, keep us posted on how his comeback is coming along. But again, I'm right with you. I'm just glad he, the person, Liam Hendriks, is doing well. Hey, Herb, where can we follow all of your stuff on social media?
Well, Ecknerwall23 is the where you can find me on Twitter and I think on Instagram. It's just Lawrence spelled backwards, and 23 is for Robin Ventura, not Chris Bryant, even though he's having a decent year for your Rockies. And I like the guy too. And then I think I'm also on TikTok, but I don't really post a lot there, just about my dog.
Herb, thank you so much. Best of luck with your season.
Thank you, Susie.
I am so looking forward to the Liam Hendriks comeback, but you know what? I'm also looking forward to the Antonio Senzatella comeback, and those moves are happening towards that. He is scheduled to make a rehab assignment appearance in Double-A Hartford. So you know what? We had to talk to Jeff Dooley, the voice of the Hartford Yard Goats, to get more intel on what is going on out in Connecticut. Kayla, are we ready to roll that? Let's hear it. Joining the pod now is Jeff Dooley, the voice of the Hartford Yard Goats, and of course, a very good friend of the pod. Jeff Dooley, how are you doing?
Doing great, Susie. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. We got to talk about what is going on down in Double-A Hartford, because you guys have a guy that we want to see as soon as possible, Zach Veen. How is Zach Veen looking?
You know, he had that wonderful spring training with the big club, and made the transition obviously to start the season with the Yard Goats, and he's so much bigger and stronger. I think he's more mature than we saw last year. I mean, he was obviously just a baby, 20 years old when we saw him a year ago. So starting to get that mature stuff in. But you know, in terms of the baseball stuff, he's off to somewhat of a slow start. He batting wise. He looks really good in the field. When he does get on, he's a guy that loves to run. He leads the team and is one of the top in stolen bases. He already swiped 5 bags. But, you know, the batting average, I think they'd like to see it go up a little bit. He's right around 200 right now. But the weather's been kind of cold, and I think with the weather warming up, I think so will Zach Veen. But, you know, he has taken some really good at-bats. He's got a really good approach, and I think that Rocky fans are going to like what they see when he's ready to go.
We are happy to see that he is still stealing so many bases in Hartford, because his base stealing in spring training was electric.
He's just one of those guys when he gets on base, because he's so big and tall and has that athleticism, that he's just so fun to go on. And, you know, I know Major League Baseball, the whole theme about getting the bigger bases and trying to instill more running, I think, at the game at the Major League level. We've seen that the last couple of years, particularly last year, at the Eastern League level. And you know, when Zach Veen gets to first base, it's game on, because he's going to try to steal second. He's going to try to steal third base. So those are really exciting players to watch. And he's someone I think that Rocky fans are going to love to see when he's ready to get to Denver.
Exactly. No base is safe when Zach Veen is on first. Who else should we be looking at in Hartford? Who else has been really showing up these first couple of weeks of the season?
Well, Hunter Goodman's off to a really good start. He's leading the league in extra base hits and total bases, and is tied for second in home runs. He's had a really good 2-week stretch. I know he felt comfortable in spring training, and he's the Rockies minor league player of the year from last year, and I think got a lot of well-deserved hype. One of the top home run hitters and RBI guys in all of minor league baseball in 2022. Hit 36 home runs, drove in like 100 runs. He just had a remarkable season, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's been outstanding, and I think he's someone that, you know, if he's not on Rockies fans' radars right now, he should be, because I think he's a special player, and he has a chance to, you know, certainly a major league bat. He can hit a major league fastball. The other kid, Susie, I've been really impressed with is Vladimir Restituyo, and he's a big-time Rockies prospect, but he's got the average over 500. He's hit for, he's hit for an average. He's a guy that can drive the ball to the gaps for extra base hits. He's really quick. He's a good defender in the outfield. We've seen him make some spectacular catches already at Duncan Park. So I think Goodman and Restituto are two good guys to watch that are off to very impressive starts in Hartford.
We love to hear this. Also, I hear Duncan Park, the new name change, the new logo. Are you used to it yet? Because I keep calling it Dunkin' Donuts Park in conversation and having to correct myself.
I've slipped a couple of times, Susie, quite honestly. But yeah, it's Duncan Park, is obviously part of their rebrand towards Dunkin'. They actually put a new iced coffee cup above the left field fence that every time the Yard Goats win or hit a home run, it's an LED at the top and it flashes. So it's a really cool fan experience. So no more steam. We're kind of moving towards 2023 with the whole LED type of theme. So it's a really cool experience for fans to watch that.
You know what? And also, you got to keep it true to New England. No one drinks hot coffee in New England. It's all iced all season, no matter how cold it is. I'm kind of into it.
New Englanders love their iced coffee, no doubt about that.
Speaking of happenings at Duncan Park, a big rehab assignment is probably coming into town this weekend. I feel like we don't get to see a ton of Rockies rehab assignments in Hartford.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, Antonio Senzatella is scheduled to do a major league rehab. Although it's not official yet, we've been hearing. I saw the reports on some of the media outlets in Denver. So, he's such a great kid, and I was with him for our first year on the road in 2016, and I know he's battled injuries, but boy, that year, Susie, I think he was he and Herman Marquez were two of the top pitchers in the Eastern League that year, and he's gone up and I know helped the Rockies, and I think he's certainly someone that can give the Rockies a push when he's healthy and ready to return to that mound in Denver. So it will be fun if it happens that our fans get a chance to see one of the 5 rotation guys in a major league rotation pitching right at Duncan Park. So we look forward to it, but more than anything, hopefully he's healthy and can return to where he needs to be, and that's with the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, he's definitely missed on the mound up here in Denver. The other crazy thing I was thinking about, if he does a rehab assignment at Duncan Park, he was supposed to be playing at Duncan Park all of 2016. So what would it be like to be able to see that kind of homecoming for one of the Road Goats?
Yeah, one of the Road Goats. I look at that list now, and it's something like, I think, 18 or 19 Road Goats that have made their major league debuts, which is kind of crazy. We always kid about that was the team that really the fans didn't get a chance to know because they were on the road the entire season. And Senzatella was one of those key guys in the rotation, one of the best pitchers in the league that year. So I can't wait. I always love it when people see the ballpark for the first time. And obviously with Senzatella, he's been in the big league, so it's a little bit different. But I know when the team came in from spring training, a couple of the veteran players pulled me aside and said, Jeff, I can't wait to watch the reaction to see the guys when they actually come in and see this place for the first time. And they've got their iPhones out and they're taking pictures, and they're loving obviously the field itself, and then their digs downstairs in the clubhouse and dining and things like that. So I can't wait to see what Senzatella gets to see about Dunkin' Donuts Park.
I don't know. He might like the Yard Goats clubhouse more than the Rockies clubhouse. The Rockies clubhouse is nice, but the Yard Goats clubhouse is just beautiful.
It is cool. And they've got that ping pong table too, so they can get those tournaments going throughout the season.
Wait, that's amazing. Okay, so wait, can you tell us about what you were doing this weekend? Because I feel like we could run into each other.
Yeah, I'm actually getting to fill in this weekend on Rockies radio, so I'm absolutely thrilled. Making my major league debut with Jerry, who is so nice to reach out, and filling in for Jack, and just kind of pinch hitting for a couple of games. I'll be doing the broadcast on KOA and the Rockies radio network on both Saturday and Sunday in Philadelphia. So I'm just so thrilled. Obviously, I feel like when these players get a chance to make it to the major league level, because you get to know them as people and you know just how hard they work, you feel almost like you made that to the big leagues as well. But getting a chance to do this for real is obviously a dream come true. It's why I got into the business in the first place, and I'm just so thrilled that they selected me to do this. And I can't wait to get going and look forward to seeing you, Susie, in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we will definitely run into each other. I'm super excited. I feel like all of us Yard Goats, we're all going to be in the same place. It's going to be a good time, good vibes. But I'm super excited for you. I'll see you this weekend. Anything else we need to know about what's going on in Yard Goats country?
Well, we're excited about this team. We've returned about 15 players from last year's group with some newcomers, and I know 9 of the Rockies' top 30 prospects are here. They just rated the Yard Goats team as one of the top teams in all of minor league baseball. So I think that, there's some young players that, as you know, when you get to the AA level, it takes a little bit for these guys to get going. But I think once that they do and they hit their stride, I think this is going to be a fun team to watch. And I think for your viewers and for Rockies fans, it's a team that you should keep an eye on, because I think you're going to have some guys on this team that are going to be pushing for spots in Denver at some point. And as the Rockies always like to tell us, they let us know when they're ready to go. But I think when you look back in this 23 Yard Goats team, you're going to have more than just a couple of guys that are going to reach Colorado.
Ooh, I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. Jeff Dooley, thank you so much for joining the pod. We will talk to you later.
All right. Thanks for having me, Suzie.
Always so great to catch up with Jeff Dooley. Before we talk about some other stuff, before we talk a little bit more about the minor leagues, I want to mention, if you're watching us live on YouTube, we just got word that the Rockies-Phillies game for Saturday has been moved up an hour because they want to get it in before the rain is forecasted to come in that night. So it was supposed to be a 2:05 Mountain Time start. Now it is a 1:05 Mountain Time start. So mark your calendars if you happen to be watching us live on YouTube here on this beautiful Friday night. You know what else is beautiful? Foco bobbleheads. I love the spring training bobblehead that we got from Foco. They're our friends. They're also the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise, with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, collectibles, toys, and novelty items like these bobbleheads. They've got bobbleheads you can't find anywhere else. And listen, it's spring, it's baseball season. We've got, where is that hat? You know what I'm talking about? I feel like it was in the studio, the straw hat. Kale's going to actually find the straw hat. I'm like, I know I just saw it in here. But they've got incredible Hawaiian-style shirts. They've got polos. They've got bags. Oh, thank you, Kale. Look at this. Look at this spring hat. This is amazing. I'll wear this. I'll wear this for the rest of this ad read. But yeah, our friends at Foco, they do amazing stuff. Is this not a vibe for baseball season?
What'd you ask?
I said, is this not a vibe for baseball season?
Oh, that's a complete vibe. I would wear that nonstop.
Should I wear this to the Rockies takeover on Saturday?
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe I will, because I already told Patrick I'm not doing an ounce of work that day. But yeah, they've got all the greatest spring gear to get your whole look looking as fresh as this. But yeah. We love them. Foco, they've got our back for all Colorado sports, for all sports across the country. They're local, but like you can get fans of all different teams gifts from Foco. But listen, you're going to get the best gear around, and you're going to get a great deal. You can get 10% off of all non-presale items with promo code DNVR. So yeah, check out the link in our description to Foco. All right, let me take off my fun hat and put on my serious hat, because we got to talk about Backus and Schenker. Because when you get hurt, Backus and Schenker are here to help, because Backus and Schenker wins for Colorado families. They have been helping those that are seriously injured in Colorado for more than 25 years. It is free until they win money in your case. There is no upfront fee to speak with someone about your case. There's no fee while they work on your case until they win money for you. So listen, and they're very good at winning money for you too. They've won more than $1 billion for their clients here in Colorado, and now they've got locations all over, including in Denver, Aurora, Englewood, Fort Collins. Backus and Schenker has the strength and power to win your case. They've got more than 30 lawyers and more than 100 staff. But Backus and Schenker helps with all kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault. So car accidents, motorcycle accidents, rideshare accidents, pedestrian accidents, truck accidents, whatever it is, they can help you. They can even help you if you're injured at work. So call them at 222-2222. You know what we say about that phone number?
Bunch of Dazas.
Bunch of Dazas. Just keep hitting dozes until you get to Backus and Schenker. The easiest phone number in the world to remember, but call them at 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free, because Backus and Schenker wins. All right. We're talking about my favorite minor league team, the Yard Goats. But there's actually so many. I love the Yard Goats because I think they are absolutely delightful and so quirky and so fun. But friend of the show, Tim Haggerty, he is the broadcaster for the El Paso Chihuahuas. He wrote a book that compiles all of the most delightful, quirky moments in minor league baseball history. It is the coolest thing ever. But let's hear my chat with him. Are we ready to roll it? Let's roll it. Joining the pod now is Tim Haggerty. He is the broadcaster for the AAA El Paso Chihuahuas, and he is also an author. Most recently, he's written Tales from the Dugout. It's 100 humorous, inspirational, and wild anecdotes from minor league baseball. Tim, how are you doing today?
Great. Happy to see you holding the book. It was a long time coming, so that's been the exciting part of my off season, is that it exists, it's out there. So that's made it a different off season, but it's great to be talking to you. I've laughed at your tweets for many years, so it's nice to actually speak to you in person.
Thank you.
Well, not in person, but you know what I mean, in real life.
Speaking of tweets, okay, so I love this book. I've been calling this the most perfect book because everything in here is no longer than a tweet. These are just like the shortest little quips, but they are also interesting. They are also fun. What made you want to compile these incredible little stories?
I've always loved researching baseball history, and in 2012, when researching something else, I came across this newspaper article from the 1880s about a wild bull that ran on the field and delayed a Texas League game in Austin. And I thought, well, if I've never heard of this story, the odds are most fans haven't either. So that's really what began this. So throughout the years, I had this document going of stories from minor league history, but also some current stories, some crazy stuff that's happened in recent years. And, you know, all of a sudden, a decade later, I had 1,001 stories and assembled it all for this book.
Did you have to wait until you had 1,001? Did you, if you were at 999, was your publisher like, no, you can't?
So I just created this document and I wrote about 1,100 stories. And eventually I thought, well, what's the game plan here? And I looked up at my wife's cookbooks, and one of them said 1,001 recipes, and I thought, that's the answer. So it was that cookbook that made me think about that number, 1,001. So then from there, I took any stories that were similar to others and merged them. So like a player being arrested in 1907 for using profane language, or a player being arrested in the 1930s for using profane language, I made that one story. So that's how I sort of whittled it down from 1,100 to 1,001.
These are so great, by the way, too. I picked out a couple that I really, really enjoy. Let's open it up. This was close to home here in Colorado. Broken bat home. Is it okay if I read an excerpt of your book?
Please, yes.
I still want people to buy it, bud. All right, this is one of my favorites, Broken Bat Home Runs. The AAA Colorado Springs Sky Sox played in the highest elevated professional baseball stadium in the United States from 1988 to 2018. At 6,531 feet above sea level, the conditions led to some astonishing home run stories, like how multiple Colorado Springs players hit balls over the fence on swings that broke their bats. So, of course, we know the altitude effect all too well covering the Rockies. This is such a funny story to me, though, that broken bat home runs, those do not happen often.
Yeah, one of them was hit by Jordan Pacheco, who was a Rocky, and at least as of last year was AAA Albuquerque's hitting coach, still in the Rockies organization. But in anticipation of talking to you, I did grab a couple of other fun Colorado nuggets. So I'll just give you
nuggets.
One quick one, if you don't mind. Yeah, you
Yes,
mentioned Colorado
please.
Springs. You'll like this. So in 1950, there was a steakhouse in Colorado Springs, and they offered a free steak to any Sky Sox player that hit a home run. Well, they had this big, hulking, powerful guy, Pat Siri, who hit 44 home runs, and that led the whole team. So the steakhouse gave him a cow at the end of the year because of all of those home runs.
That's amazing. Also, that's got to be huge for a minor leaguer because we know that they do not get paid well.
Yeah, he had to be thinking, what am I going to do with this cow?
Where am I going to keep this?
Yes.
Was the cow alive or was it like a butchered full cow?
Living cow presented to him at the end of the season.
That is so chaotic. So I've been flipping through this book a ton since I got it. It came in the mail, I think, sometime last week. But are there any Yard Goat stories in here that I've missed?
Yes. At the end of the book, there is one about how the Yard Goats had live goats at their ballpark in Hartford.
Yes,
Really
they
lives
do.
the brand. And I put that in the same section with the AAA Gwinnett Stripers having goat yoga on the field after a day game. People did yoga on the field, and they let goats roam around and eat the grass.
Goat yoga was such a sensation a couple of years ago. The Yard Goats, too, have done goat yoga, but I'm not sure they've done it on the field. I know they've done it in the off season in the batting cages inside of the stadium, but this is so quirky. Are there any other standout favorites that a tale you compiled where you were just like, this blows my mind?
Probably the one that first comes to mind actually ties back. You mentioned Connecticut. This involves a Connecticut team. In 1978, Bristol was playing at Jersey City, AA Eastern League, and there were some big names in this game. Wade Boggs was playing for Bristol, Ricky Henderson for Jersey City, and a right-handed hitter hit a fly ball to right field, and it disappeared. It vanished. I spoke to players around the field. I spoke to someone who was working at the game. I spoke to a fan that was there, and they all described it the same way. It was not a cloudy, foggy night or anything. The ball did not go over the fence. It did not land on the field. It did not land in the stands. Literally, this fly ball disappeared. So the umpires get together, and understandably, they don't know what the ruling is here on how to call a ball that never comes down. So they gave the batter a double.
You know what? I was going to say that kind of sounds like it would be a ground rule double.
That's what they thought. They agreed with you.
That is so strange. Also a little freaky. That feels like a supernatural event. Like there was definitely a glitch in the matrix. There was a wrinkle in time. That ball is like somewhere in a black hole on the other side of the universe.
Yeah, that's what was so mysterious about it. There was one person who sent me a message and said, well, David Copperfield, the magician, is from New Jersey. Did he have something to do with it? So I think you might be right. I like your Matrix theory.
Is David Copperfield actually a magician, or do we call him an illusionist? What is the technical term for what he does?
Could be illusionist. I don't know.
We
if
will
he's
look
watching,
this up.
I'm sorry if I called him magician.
We're going to have to look this up. So when do you get to go down to spring training?
I'll be there for a couple of days in early March. El Paso's major league affiliate is the San Diego Padres, and it's a quick trip for El Paso. We're right here on the edge of West Texas. We're right next to New Mexico, so it's pretty easy to get over there to the Phoenix area, and always enjoy going. I've been to the Rockies facility as well. Just a stunning building there, Salt River. Really nice.
It is, yeah. It's good. I love going to Padres games, though.
Yeah, Petco Park is awesome. One of the top few. I remember a couple of years ago it won an award from USA Today or something, best ballpark in America, and
that doesn't
certainly
sound
deserving.
Right. That doesn't sound right. It definitely has to be Coors Field, but I'm a little biased. Any other fun projects in the works? Any other documents that you are turning into books coming up?
No, I think right now I'm just kind of enjoying telling people these stories, trying to let people know that this is a good-looking book. As you showed when you opened it, there's a lot of illustrations in it. That had nothing to do with me. That was all the publisher, so I'm excited about that. That's what I really hoped was cartoonish illustrations. Yeah, there's an umpire holding an eye chart. I think in 1907, there was a league that demanded that umpires prove their good vision before working a game.
Your eyesight is incredible, speaking of an eye chart, because it's incredible that you could tell from me just holding this up. And yeah, that's exactly the story. You seem like you're a baseball encyclopedia. Is that the case?
My wife jokes that, like, if you ask me who won the 1925 World Series, I could tell you. But if she said, what color is our downstairs bathroom, I really struggle to remember that. So I think with baseball, I am an encyclopedia, but probably have some weaknesses remembering other things.
Tim, thank you so much for joining the pod. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so I got caught. Obviously, that was recorded while spring training was still going on. So chatted a little bit ago with Tim, but again, so grateful that he could come on the show. We could talk about his book. It is delightful. Nothing in there is longer than a tweet. So great. Let's preview this upcoming Philly series. So listen, this game, if you're watching us live on YouTube, it's starting in just a couple of minutes. Noah Davis getting the start tonight in Philly. He is up against Phillies ace Aaron Nola, and Patrick Lyons just put out a great story about Noah Davis and the twists and turns on his road to where he is right now. So check that story out on the DNVR.com. Saturday, we did just mention this, but the game is at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. It's going to be a Kyle Freeland day. Left-handed pitcher Christopher Sanchez makes his first appearance of the season for the Phillies. And then Sunday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, Urania is slated to start on that Sunday, and Zach Wheeler will take the mound for Philly. I'll be in Philly Saturday and Sunday. We'll have so much content to show you, so make sure you are following along at DNVR_Rockies. You can find me at the Suzie Hunter on all platforms. Kale, do you want to shout out any social media?
Yeah, sure. Follow me on Twitter at Kale Sorbo, Kale with 2 L's, or on Instagram at Blue Eyes with a Backpack.
Let's go. Kale, thank you so much for a great show. This was delightful.
Thanks for having me, Suzie.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me, he says. Like this show would be happening if I didn't have him here. We are going to be back. By we, I mean me and Patrick on Sunday post-game. We'll be breaking down an exciting weekend of Rockies baseball on the road. But until then, enjoy the weekend. Kale, you know what I say about closing a show?
What do you say?
What do they say? What does she say? I don't know how to do it. So we will just talk to you again on Sunday live after the Rockies game.